TV42 News at 6.
Former U.S. Attorney Doug Jones is here now to talk about the attack on people in a church. He's the man who prosecuted suspects in the 1963 church bombing here in Birmingham, decades after the bombing. And Doug, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
We know that the Justice Department is looking at this as a hate crime, something racially motivated. When you heard this today, immediately, what went through your mind?
Oh, it's just, I mean, it was just, you just shudder. You think about all of the things that we've done over the last 50 years, and for something like this to happen, it is just, you know, reminiscent of all that happened, all that was said and done in the 50s and 60s. And your heart goes out for the people of Charleston, the victims and the families, really, but also for the greater community, because it really tears a hole in the community.
For the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing with the deaths of the 4 girls, it seemed that America was able to galvanize and things happened. There was change after that. But here we are 51 years later, and we're dealing with some of the same type of hatred at a place of worship.
Well, I think things have kind of gone back in the last few years. I've said that a lot. We've seen a lot of rollbacks, I think, of civil rights, and it's not just a black-white issue. It's immigration. It's all number of things that we see today. Look, we've made tremendous progress. There's no question about that. But things like this can have the positive. You know, Dr. King's memorial speech talked about turning hope and turning good from a tragedy. And I think the people of Charleston will do that. Just like the people of Birmingham did, the message will go out, and hopefully this will increase the dialogue that I think is so badly needed in this country.
Because there is some dialogue out there about race with the police shootings of unarmed black men.
Correct.
There's been a dialogue. It's raised to a certain pitch, but is it the type of dialogue that needs to be happening to evoke change in people's lives?
Yeah, I think so. I think, unfortunately, I think the dialogue with regard to law enforcement was almost one of these deals where people were taking sides. You were either for the law enforcement or you were for the black community, and that was unfortunate. And it kind of got lost. The greater dialogue got lost. No one can take sides in this. This is a tragedy of unbelievable proportions, and this is one that people ought to just start, you know, sit back and look at the rhetoric that goes around the country, and hopefully this will start the dialogue that has been needed for the last 10 years at least.
And when we talk about this young man, Dylan Ropp, his friends saying, of course, that, you know, he wasn't a racist, he had a black friend, but there are these comments that are surfacing that have been attributed to him.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about this idea of people getting self-radicalized into racial hate?
Absolutely. It is one of the I think things that we're seeing, you know, the dark side of the internet, the dark side of social media, where people who have some sense of loss, some sense of anger, they're in the privacy of their own home. They're reading these things that just reinforces this belief for one way or another, and it turns folks into, not everyone obviously, but it turns people into lone wolves. We see it happening with ISIS. They're using that as a recruitment tool. This is the same kind of terrorism, and it's the kind of thing that true hate groups want. They want not the organized group out there conducting this kind of propaganda. They want the lone wolf out there doing their bidding for them. And that's the real tragedy in all.
Doug, thank you for talking with us, coming in. We want to remind you, you can go to WIAT.com for the very latest on the South Carolina church shooting. Michael?